Today we are going to play with dish soap, Dawn dishwashing liquid. I've got some water. I've got some Dawn. I'm going to put a little bit in each of these cups. I don't know an exact amount. We'll see how they work. Hi everybody, it's Kelly from Collage-Lab, and I've got some mixed media March minis for you. So today we're going to be making bubble papers, and then I'm going to add some golden fluid acrylics. I've got some green gold. Hansa yellow light. I've got Prussian blue hue. And yellow ochre. And with each of these, I'm just going to stir the paint together with the water and the soap first. And then we are going to blow bubbles. Till it gets over the top of the cup. Forgot to mention this is kind of messy. And I'm just going to take a piece of copier paper, lay that on top of my bubbles. Oops. You know, I'm not sure if I've got enough paint in here. Let's try this again. Probably getting a very weird camera angle. All right, lay this on top of the bubbles. Press down a bit. There we go. All right, those are pretty faint. I think I am going to add more paint to each of these. There are several different ways we can do this. So this is one of two ways I'm going to show you today. This is the more, what should we say? Probably the more subtle approach. Don't put the right colors in. I think I'm getting them right. Okay. Stir that around. Blow bubbles. And then place the paper over the bubbles. And, all right, like I said, this is the more subtle one. I'm going to move on to the second option, since I've already made quite the mess. And let me just light this up a bit. For the second option, I'm going to grab something. Okay. I've got a piece of paper, copier paper. I'm going to blow bubbles, one color at a time. Really kind of up and over the top. And then got a bone folder that'll just pull those off. There we go. And just set your bubbles down on the paper like that. So that's kind of cool. Let me do some more of this color. And then scoop them off onto the paper. That is kind of fun. Okay, I'll try another color with that. See how the blue looks. And as the bubbles pop, they leave you paint. It's amazing how high over the top of the thing we can do that. And then just let your bubbles relax and they'll eventually pop. Do some more blue. I like that. A big splat of blue came out the side, but there we go. Get some big bubbles, some little bubbles. I'll show you how cool these are as they start to pop themselves. I'm going to add some yellow in here next. Oops. All right, so we do have a combination of drips and bubbles. These are turning out kind of cool. I'm going to add a little more of that green in that section, I think, for this one. They're popping rather quickly. I do have a fan going here. It's not going directly on them, but they're popping away. And let's see if there's another color I want to try. I'll go with another green. I'm actually going to mix this Viridian green in with the yellow ochre because it didn't really do a lot. So we'll see how that mixes. Oh, that's a different green. We'll see how this one turns out. Get a bunch of bubbles. Scrape them off. Ooh, I like that. Got bubbles on my thumb. I got bubbles everywhere. All right. I'll let this one dry. I'm going to do another sheet like this. And yeah, fun stuff. All right, I've got another sheet of paper here. Let me get this more centered for you to see. And I'm going to start with the yellow. Mix it up pretty good and blow bubbles. And drips. I like that drip, but I think I'm going to start with a fresh sheet here. There we go. Get those bubbles over there. And let's do some more. Okay. And then some green. See how the bubbles stick to my bone folder there. So grab those off. Some blue. Oop. You can kind of manipulate them a little bit as you pull them out of the cup. Just more blue. These don't have to be beautiful. They're going to be collage papers. And so I'm just kind of filling the whole area, and we'll rip those up and do some fun stuff with them. Let's go with the green gold again. Large bubbles and smaller bubbles. Some of them don't hold on to a lot of paint. Some of them do. But if you keep your paint mixed up, see the smaller bubbles? You can just kind of set those down, and as they pop, you'll get some cool stuff going on. I'm going to do a little more green over here. I like this green. And some drips. As I'm putting the bubbles down, I'm not actually touching the paper, but I'm getting the bubbles off the paper, or off the bone folder onto the paper. So let those dry too, and we'll see what kind of magic we have. So I'm really pretty happy with how these papers turned out. There's some very interesting little bits and pieces that would be really fun to rip up and use as collage papers. So there's one, and then here's the other one. And, you know, even the drips and spills and all of that all work together to just make something really unique. And so I was thinking about what I was going to do for my little mixed media March mini, and I have no idea if this is going to turn out, but the first magazine I grabbed out of my box was Wall Street Journal magazine. Look at the bubbles on the front cover, y'all. So I'm going to see if I can figure out how to incorporate those, maybe just a little bit. And wow, I don't even know. The image is so big and my card is so small. So let me just cut these out a bit and start playing around. But of course I want to feature my fabulous bubble papers too. So let's see what I can fit on the card. Let's tear this. It's a double folded cover. All right, get something manageable here. Now, I like these. Maybe I just start with part of her face and bubbles. We're just having so much fun, y'all, and I hope you have this much fun making your bubble papers. I kind of gave up on that first way of doing it. You can certainly experiment and try, but I just didn't have a lot of patience today. So see, maybe, I don't know, this is kind of a goofy idea, but what the heck, right? So let me just, it's so hard to decide which bubbles I like the best. All right, I'm going to trim kind of around these real organic shapes and then just kind of continue making something a little rounded. I see these being really fun in a larger abstract piece, but I just want to have a fun little thing happening here. And I think what I'm going to do, put a little down there, a little up here, and put my girl there. Something like that. I am going to use some soft gel medium, just because the papers are they're a little saturated, and so I want to make sure I get good adhesion. I don't always trust the glue stick. So little gel matte medium. And your papers, I mean, they got a lot of water on them, so they're going to have some wrinkling, but you can probably smooth them down like this. And I think I'm going to go with the straight edge along the edge of the card there. Straight. There we go. And smooth that down. Oh yeah. And then my bubble girl. Yeah, kind of a weird little idea, but I couldn't pass it by when that's the first magazine that jumped out at me, and there were bubbles on the cover. That was not planned. Couldn't have been planned, right? All right. Well, I like the idea. The execution may not be perfect, but that's okay. This is all experimental this month for March Minis. So there's my bubble girl on my bubble paper. Not too bad.